Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland, and today I have a layout for Lottie Loves Paper. I am using The Avenue by Jen Hadfield Pebbles, which is available at Lottie Loves Paper. I didn't have loads of this collection, I had some of it, so I thought I would have a play today and make a layout using it. So it's good to use up your stash, right, rather than just sit there. I've gone for a cut file title, Nuts About You, by Peartree Cutfiles. I think it was a freebie, and it should now be available to purchase in the shop as well, so if you fancy getting your hands on that, go for it. Yeah, Nuts About You, super cute, hey, and it's got nuts on, of course, little acorns and some leaves. Now I cut it from a very busy pattern paper that was from The Avenue. It's got flowers and things all over it, in a dark green colour. I thought it would look okay in the with that pattern, but actually it's a little difficult to read because there is so much going on with the pattern that the about, which is in a cursive font in the middle, was a little tricky to read. So how I dealt with that was that I have got my thickers out. So these are the Jen Hadfield The Avenue thickers. They're black and a block font. They have flowers on them, but they're black and a block font, so therefore they are really good at showing up. So I have added the word about using thickers across the word about on the cut file, and that just made it more readable. So I was really like nuts and you is completely readable, but the word about in the middle in my pattern, if I'd gone with a plain coloured cardstock or a plain pattern paper, then it would have showed up way better. But the thickers definitely solved that issue. So cut file saved, I was still able to use it. So I've decided to go for a dark green background that is from The Avenue as well, of course, and then I'm using white cardstock for the middle section. So I have I'm going to take a middle section out of that green so that I can preserve some for later on. I might actually use it for something else. It's also got houses and trees and cute things on the back, so I did want to preserve a little bit of that paper if I possibly could, but you can see what I'm doing with the white. I have distressed the edges and I'm going to fold over the two opposite corners, so therefore I had to take quite only a small amount of the middle of that green cardstock before it would show. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do my two corners and then have the Nuts About You over on the right hand side. My photo is of my little boy. He is 2, and he's just getting into kisses, so he wants to give everyone kisses at the moment. It's really cute, and he goes mwah. And it's just so lovely. The photo is terrible. It's a selfie taken on my phone. Quick snapshot, wasn't expecting to take a photo. We're sat in the really wrong place because we've got the light behind us, so the light is super overexposed, and then we are underexposed, and it's just a terrible photo, but I wanted to capture the memory and remember how cute he was when he wanted to kiss us, because I'm sure that in a few months time he probably won't want to kiss us anymore and we'll be like, oh, do you remember when he did that? So that's why I wanted to capture this memory, even though the photo is terrible. So I made it a bit better by converting it to black and white and trying to sort out the exposure, but I didn't do a particularly good job, so it's just about passable in black and white. But that's the story behind the photo. So I'm just mounting that photo on. I actually had to cut it down. It wasn't the right size, so I had to cut it down, and then I've mounted it onto white cardstock to give it a white border. So I think it was just too tall. It was a normal portrait sized photo that I usually use, but it was just it was too tall for the cut file and the corner part that I'd folded. So I just sorted that out by cutting it down and then remounting it so I had a white border still, and that kind of sorted it out. So yeah, that was okay. Okay, you can now see that it's going to be level with the top of my cut file, and what I'm doing now is I'm spending some time fussy cutting out some of those beautiful The Avenue flowers. They're so gorgeous. There's loads of them on this sheet of paper that I'm cutting out from. The flowers are on a dark green background, which gives them a nice border against the white cardstock that I'm using for my background. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm really happy with how the flowers are looking. I have this frame from the sticker book, the Jen Hadfield The Avenue sticker book, but because it's like almost like a planner sticker. It's not, they're quite good quality, to be fair. They're not as thin as some of the other ones that are designed for planners, but because it's a sticker and a frame, it was a bit wobbly, so I decided to stick it onto a piece of white card and then cut it out so that it had a bit more of a solid feel to it. Just taking a couple of tags from the sheet of tags, and going to layer those behind my photos. My photo, even, I've only got one. Yeah, so I'm just going to carry on fiddling around really and working out what I can use. I just went off to find some brads, so I wanted to use real brads that stick through the page to hold down my corners, but I wanted pretty ones. I've got a whole bunch of just boring ones, but I wanted pretty ones, but there aren't any in this collection by Jen Hadfield The Avenue, so I went back to my Simple Stories, the You Rock collection, the boy one, and actually it's not You Rock at all, it's called Bro & Co, and the other one, which is the girly one, Kate and Ash. So I went through and found the brads for those. They are real brads that they go all the way through the page and hold things in place. So I went looking for those, and I found a black and white one, and then I found some minty green ones and a pink one as well, so they worked perfectly. So I've got 2 at the top holding the top corner down and 2 at the bottom holding the bottom corner down, although I've not put those in place just yet. But the one at the top certainly works, and those are stuck down, and now I can start adding my flowers and embellishments around the corners without my corners moving. I always worry if I do a folded down bit, because my adhesive just wouldn't be strong enough to keep it down against the pressure, so I'd either have to sew it with the sewing machine or use a brad. So in this case I decided to use brads. Okay, so now just figuring out my bottom corner, and now I've skipped forwards a little bit. Now you can see that I've added my flowers to the top right, I've added some flowers and a bit of a cluster to the bottom left, and my brads, and now I'm coming in with some super duper uber cute Bramble Fox critters. So we have a little squirrel, or actually have 2 squirrels, one at the top eating a nut, and then one at the top of my photo who's like, looks like he's leaping off of something, and another one as well over to the right of the cut file where it says nut next to nuts. He's sitting on there as well, perched on there, really cute. I love squirrels. We love squirrels in our house. We have loads of them in the garden. We're always watching them, and we were sat in the kitchen at the time of this photo was taken. Even though this story is nothing to do with squirrels, it works well because we are nuts about squirrels as well. So lots of squirrels and nuts as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out what else I can put onto this layout really, if I need anything else. I decided to come in with some houses because we were at home. We spent a lot of time at home this year, as I'm sure everyone else has, and I have just pulled out a few houses to go top right and bottom left. So I've got some wooden ones from the ephemera, and some golden ones as well, also from the ephemera. They're like foiled, very very pretty. So I'm just layering those up. So I've got 3 at the top right corner, and then I'm going to add 1 in the bottom left corner as well. In the bottom left corner I've also used the word love. That's a sticker from the sticker book, and so I have multiple flowers from Fussy Cut as well, both in the top right and the bottom left corners, and I've just been building those up with various layers of Fussy Cut flowers, and then I'm probably going to come in as well with some other leaves as well in a moment. Okay, so just adding in my little houses. I'm making sure that I'm raised at the top and stuck flat at the bottom. Going back to the Bramble Fox critters for a moment, bottom left corner I have a little pink deer. They are so cute, these creatures. They have got etched details on them, and the deer is just adorable. So even though I don't have any deers in my in my photo, it's an autumn type feel, isn't it? So I think it all kind of goes. Okay, so adding some gold splatters now to my layout, and just kind of finishing off with those splatters really. I've added in some gold leaves, I think, already from the Jen Hadfield stickers, and that's me done. Okay, so thank you very, very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I loved putting it together. I love the cut file, I love the critters, and I absolutely adore the Avenue collection by Jen Hadfield, which is available from Lottie Loves Paper. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Lottie Loves Paper.